Hey, you know what the absolute worst way to get a listing is to get an overpriced listing. Hi, my name is Yasser Khan and I'm the author of Property Agent Secrets book, which is the most powerful book in the entire real estate industry, guaranteed. So, for property agents, right, what is the absolute the worst possible way, the first thing to do to get a listing is actually an overpriced listing, right? So property agents, right? Here's the thing about listing, right? When you need business, when you need to get sellers, right? So many property agents out there, what they do is they just get every and any listing out there, and chances are very very high that the listing that you get is going to be a bit or a lot overpriced compared to what the market and compared to what the CMA suggests. So dealing with such sellers is always a tricky issue. Trying to convince them to do price reduction is no easy matter, and it's not a good situation to be in. So this is the wrong way to get listings which are overpriced, and basically this is for two main reasons, right? Why getting any listing, and any listing out there without regard for the price is such a bad business, and it's bad for the marketing, right? It's bad business because ultimately, right, sellers, they want to sell high, right? But the thing is that many sellers are unrealistic, and the thing that you and I know but sellers don't know is that the price at which the seller wants to sell the house is, the price that they want to sell is not determined by you or me or the seller. The actual price is determined by the market. So the market, pays attention to supply and demand. In the market, you have to look at what are the comparables, and I'm sure you know about comparative market analysis, right? So all these factors, actually the market is the most important, and only the market is the thing that should be able to determine a price. It's not the seller, it's not me, it's not the agent, it's not you, right? But the thing is that why is this such a tricky issue? Because property agents, right, when they want to, property agents, right, they get any and every listing because the number one reason is they're very desperate, and that is something that I can understand because I used to be working in a similar manner all those years ago. And what is it about sellers? Sellers, right, they tend to be very, very inflexible and very unrealistic. And there is a lot of education needing to be done, and sellers do not budge from their price for sentimental issues, for sentimental reasons, right? So, okay, here's the thing, right? Why, getting an overpriced listing, overpriced property is such a bad idea? Because the number one thing is that the seller thinks it's okay. The seller thinks that he may get the price, he may get lucky, right? But you know do you want to base your entire business from this, just on the hope that his house sells at the price that he is asking for? I don't think so, because what the seller thinks, how much the seller paid, and how much he wants to get back has no bearing on the price whatsoever. It's the market that determines the price that whichever price that his house is able to sell for, right? So the seller, they keep putting up unrealistic pricing because they think they can get away with it, and property agents who are desperate, right, to get the listing, and they want to be in the good books of the seller. They don't want to let the opportunity slip. So what they do, they just go with it. Okay, so let me tell you, that's bullshit, because it's not. I mean, it's not true. You tell the seller that you are able to sell the listing at the price that the seller is asking for is a bit unrealistic, and it's totally bullshitting, because and I know that that's not true, right? So the price at which the house is going to sell is determined by the market, right? So the seller wants to get as much as possible, but the problem with overpriced listing is that they tend not to sell. So what happens is that a majority of listings, if you look at anywhere else, right, a majority of the listings, right, they are out there, and when they don't sell for 30 days, they don't sell for 60 days, and they don't sell for 90 days or even 120 days, and they expire, right? So such listings are very hard to sell. Why? Because human nature, human beings, right? For example, everybody, they only want new and they want fresh things, right? So if a property is on the market for too long, just because the price was not right, the property wasn't priced properly, it was overpriced, right? And the buyers are not willing to pay that price. What happens? Right, the property sits on the market for too long until it becomes totally undesirable, and that is just bad business. Seriously, right? So if you go and look at the doctor, right, if the doctor does a free operation but that operation is entirely unnecessary, that doctor is going to get sued, right? And if a lawyer, he takes a case just to lose, that is being unprofessional, and the lawyer will definitely get barred, right? But what about real estate agents? Real estate agents know that this listing is overpriced, yet they still bullshit themselves. They still bullshit the seller that, okay, maybe I can try to sell at the price that you want the house to sell. And that's bullshitting. That's totally unprofessional. And this is one of the bullshit that I keep hearing from being in the real estate myself and from agents right now. They keep giving themselves this excuse that maybe the house can sell for the price that the seller is asking for, or why not? Because I'm desperate for the listing. Just get the listing and just put it out there, and I'm the agent who put it out there. And that is totally bullshitting yourself. Seriously, who are you bullshitting? Only yourself. Because this is just bad business to get an overpriced listing in the market for too long. Seriously. And that's the first thing, is bad business, and second thing is bad marketing. You are proving to all the buyers out there in the neighborhood that your listing has been around for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and if the listing expires, what does that show all the buyers? It shows that you are incompetent. It shows that you cannot sell a house fast, and your listing has been rotting for so long on the market, and the buyers are not going to touch it, and you just gave them a very good reason to not use you. All right. So that is the big thing. That's the big danger that you will fall into if you take on overpriced listing, and you let the house sit for too long on the market because maybe the agent is too afraid to ask to do a price reduction with the seller. So that's a bad thing, and it's definitely a bad business, and it's definitely going to be bad marketing. Don't do it. Instead, what you should do is be honest with yourself, be honest with the seller, communicate, tell him that the price of the house is not determined by you or I. It's determined by the market, and let's look at what the market says. Alright, so then you do a comparative market analysis. How do you solve this problem of overpriced listing once and for all? You become better at educating sellers about pricing. Pricing is one of the core issues. I'm sure you have the specialized knowledge the seller wants, right? Now you should do the educating. You should educate the seller, convince him that the price that he wants is not the price that the house will sell. The house will only sell at the market price, and then you should make a price reduction accordingly. And that's it. Simple solution. Alright, nothing complicated, and no BS. Be professional. Always, uphold your principles. Never sell your soul. Alright, so that's for now, and this is how you solve the problem of overpriced listing. And never ever again from today, make an effort, make a promise to yourself, never get an overpriced listing. And if by any chance you do get such an overpriced listing, you should do a price correction and educate the seller. Alright, now get out there and sell houses.